everyone! Today we are talking about 3 super simple gifts that you can make for the holidays. If you're anything like me and you have yet to do any holiday shopping for people, you are kind of thinking about what you're gonna do because time is running out. That's what we're talking about today. So welcome, I am Mary, the host of the Leather Tamers Facebook group, as well as the website, The Leather Beast. Thanks for joining me today. And we're in December now. So last month, the theme was all about starting your own business. You make handmade products, and maybe you want to start selling them. So that was last month's theme, and this month's theme, to keep it very appropriate for the holidays, I'm just going to be doing today's live and then next week's live stream and maybe some more project ideas for gift ideas. And then the last 2 weeks, I'm out on vacation. I will be heading to California for a week and a half, and I'm looking forward to that. So, oh yeah, and then before we get into the projects, I just wanted to make an announcement that last week I did a couple pricing workshops. They were called Pricing Your Products with Confidence, how to use real numbers to price your products instead of pulling numbers out of thin air. And I know that this is a big one for people who are looking to start a business. They're not sure how to price their products, as well as people who already are starting a business or an Etsy shop and they're not sure that they're doing it properly or maybe what's best for them. So I had a huge response for those workshops, but I know that there were some people that weren't able to make them, so I have decided to do one more this week on Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you missed that workshop, can't talk today. If you missed that workshop last week, be sure you head to, I posted about it yesterday, so be sure you head over to the website and save your spot in there. I'll also link it in the comments to this video, but I think I posted it just like 1 or 2 posts back, so check that out for the link. Okay, so the first project, let me just adjust my camera here. Oops. Okay, cool. So just out of these small selection of materials and tools, we're going to make 3 different projects. So let me just get a couple of these things out of the way so we can work on the first one. So the first one is super fun, and it's a headband. So if you have some long strips like this is 21 inches. And then I'm going to use this hair tie, this existing hair tie, and it kind of depends on how stretchy your hair tie is, so you might just have to kind of measure around your head and then measure how much elastic this gives you, but about 22 inches for the strip of leather. I'm going to take my little punchers and I'm going to punch a hole about 1 inch in here and another hole there. So I've got my 2 holes here, and then I'm going to use some rivets. I'm going to use these small ones. You just need 4 rivets. Put these back. And I'm just going to loop this leather. Oh wait, sorry, you need 2 holes. About a 1/2 inch apart. So like that. Probably even less than a 1/2 inch. Like 1/4 inch. And then I'm going to loop this like this. I have the rivet that is going to hold this in place. These are double capped rivets. I like these because they kind of snap on. You still have to hammer them, but they kind of do like a little snap things, so they'll hang out there in position, and I can get this one in position, and then I can hammer them both at the same time. Okay, so now I'm just going to give these a little hammer. Use my little tool. This is going to be a little loud. Oops. And there we go. Let's try this baby on. Oh no. How cute is that? I like it. Okay, so that is project number 1. Project number 2 is a pot holder. So you might have seen this before. I just thought this was so clever. But basically I just have this piece of leather. This is about 10 inches by 3 inches. And if you're making it for a specific pot, like a cast iron pot that you're going to be having on the stove and it's really hot, like any pot, but especially a cast iron pot because the handle just, there's nothing insulating it there from the heat. So you can take one of these, a piece of leather, and I'm going to make some holes here. Here's my little, let's see. I think my little, this thing needs to be sharpened, so I'm going to use the one of these guys, just my metal punch here, to punch the rest of my holes. Make sure those go through all the way. And I'm just creating 3 holes so that I can then rivet. And now when I have these pressed this way, I can mark my holes so they line up on both sides. This is thicker leather, so I'm also going to hammer this a little bit. It just helps it to kind of lay a little bit flatter. And then, like I did before, I'm going to take my rivets. I'm going to punch these holes. Duh. So this could be really great for the cook in your life, or the non-cook in your life that tries to cook but they are constantly burning themselves on hot pans in the kitchen. That's more like me. But I like this because you don't always have pot holders hanging out nearby, and if you're serving something up in your dish onto the table, it's great. So then when people are passing it around, they're not burning themselves because you have this that hangs onto the handle. So I've got my rivets there. Now let's set those. And there is your handle. I need to get a pot so I can show you. I'll be right back. And you just slide this guy right on here like this. And now you have a pot holder, handle holder. Okay, that's number 2. I have grease all over my hands. Number 3 is using 1 strip of leather. It can be any width, at least 1/2 inch or up to, this is about 1.5 inches. Some leather buttons, and I'll show you how we're making these, and a little bit of string or twine. This is leather cording or lace. Yeah, and that's it. Okay, so we need about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need 7 of these little buttons. So these are just made by taking 2 circles and then gluing them together and then punching a hole in the middle. So I'll show you. And I'm using this punch, this big guy, to get these leather circles. I got these in a package when I just wanted these smaller ones, and these came with it, and I was like, what in the world am I gonna do with those? So I just kind of like threw them in a bin, and then yeah, and then I started making some leather buttons, and they're perfect. So if you don't have one of those, you can find that on Amazon. And then once you've used all of your really tiny pieces of leather, scrap leather, to make your little rounds, you're just going to use a little bit of glue so you can smush these guys together. And I'm using barge cement, which you can also get on Amazon. And I'll just let this dry a little bit. In the meantime, I'm going to also dye the edge of this, so I'll get my dye ready. I just use a paintbrush to apply that. And this looks fairly dry, so I'm just going to push these together. Give them a little hammer. And now I have my button, but I want to dye this edge so that it looks all uniform. These little buttons are a great way to use up scrap leather. If you're anything like me, you don't want to throw out any of your scrap leather, no matter how small it is. I have a rule: if it's less than 1 square inch, if it's less than like 1/2 square inch, because I can get one of these out of 1/2 square inch, then I'll toss it. But if it's Any bigger than that, I can at least get these buttons out of it. Okay, and then you can take your regular punches or one of these guys and make a hole in it. And you could do, for this project, I'm just doing one center hole. But if you did, you could always put 2 holes in here if you wanted to create a button that you could kind of loop through. Okay, so now I have my buttons. You can also stack them even wider. This one is 3 thickness. So the possibilities are kind of endless. You could also make square ones. You could make big ones. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, so this is going to be a little ornament, like a little Christmas tree type ornament with these buttons in between here, and it'll hang from the top. So it's just kind of like a cute little thing. I thought of making, I don't know if you saw my previous video where I did some, illustrated how to do some projects using up your scrap. And I did like 3 different types of ornaments, so I was thinking I would do a set for like my parents or something. We'll see. So you take your string and you're going to put one of these guys on here to kind of hold it in place. And your string, you need about maybe like 25 inches of string. You don't need that much. And then I'm going to kind of loop this around to make the part where it hangs from the tree. Oops. You could put a spot of glue on here so it holds its place, but you can always adjust that. And then you're just taking your string and you're putting these guys on here. And then going through here. And then you're going to loop another one on here. And then you're going to loop it through your next hole. And then loop another button. Another button. You can use your pliers if you're having a hard time pulling it through. I like to get them all on here and then I'll tighten it up after I've got all the beads on there. And then you put it through here. And I should note this, the spacing for these holes, I just kind of took it and I kind of put it into the shape that I wanted, and then I took a little pencil and I marked little dots. So you could make this as big as you wanted, or as small as you wanted, or as like spaced out as you wanted. So then I'm going to put the last one on. Maybe I'll use this big one. And then you can just tie a little knot. Trim that. Trim that. And there you have a cute little ornament. I like the contrasting black buttons, but I think I'll also try some of the nude kind as well, so it's all the same. So those are my 3 super easy handmade gifts, and I hope you try them. Or maybe you have some handmade gifts of your own that you're making for friends and family. I would love to see them. Post them in the comments in the Leather Tamers. I'm going to share this video into the Leather Tamers group. If you're not a part of that group, go ahead and request access, and you can see everybody else's creations as well. And if you have any that you would like to share, you can post pictures in that thread as well. So that's it. I hope you have a great week, and I hope to see you on Thursday at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the free training if you're wanting to understand pricing and how to price your products and get your 2018 off to a great start. Join me in that free training. You can sign up over on Leather Beast. I'll post that link in the comments as well. All right, you guys. See ya.